Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.
What's up YouTube, Dow here from Zeph Wargames, and today I'm going to show you my 6 Samurai True King profile. That's it, let's just dive straight into the list. So, with the True King version, what is different from the normal version is you are maxing out on 6 Samurai Fuma, purely because with the True Kings you abuse the living heck out of this and it is not a once per turn. So if you were to pop 2 copies using a True King, you are able to resolve Fuma's effect twice, and the card you're going to be going to more times than not will be Kizaru, and again in this version you are playing 2 of it. Yes, it does suck a little bit if you do open up one of them, but at the end of the day if you don't, you're getting 2 free summons off of the True Kings. And what the True Kings offer the deck that the normal version doesn't is it allows you to maintain your normal summon so that when you start building through your combos, if you do get stopped, you still have a way to continue to keep on going. The other 3 ofs that we play is Triple Kizan. Of course, this is the card that special summons itself for free, as long as you control a 6 Sam monster and as many times as you want. So you can loop this with Gateway with the greatest of ease. Other cards that technically special summon themselves is double Mizuho and double Shunai. Now, of course, these do contribute towards the Eternal Loop combo. Now, there is an end to this because obviously the way you set this out is you can declare how many tokens you are planning to make. Now, the way the combo works is you need 2 of one and 1 of the other, which is very, very easily searched out using Gateway. If you've maintained your normal summon all of the way through the combo, of course you can use it then as well. But 9 out of 10, what you're going to be doing is making Skull Dread and then special summoning one of these off of Skull Dread to then search the other pieces and constantly loop your combo. Now, the way the loop works is if you activate Mizuho's effect to tribute the Shunai and then destroy the Mizuho, the effect will then resolve as thus, that Shunai will then, because it's been tributed, let you target a 6 Sam in the graveyard and add it back to the hand, so you're going to add back Mizuho, and then you'll be using 4 counters off of your Gateway to add back the Shunai. Now, as long as you keep a Shunai or a Mizuho on the board, the idea is that as long as one of them stays, you constantly just go, okay, well I control a Mizuho, special summon a Shunai. I control the Shunai, I can special summon the Mizuho, and then continue combo. Mizuho, tribute off the Shunai and destroy itself. Shunai in graveyard, add back Mizuho, take away 4 counters, add back the Shunai. Now, every time you do this, the idea is that if you've got 2 cards that are going to contain Bushido counters, you're going to get 4 off of Gateway by summoning these 2, and you're going to get 2 off of something else. And then the cost that you're going to be paying is 4 counters of all of this, so it leaves you with a total of 2 counters as an additional plus every time you make this combo. Now, officially, what you can tell your opponent is I'm going to complete this combo 20 times, which is going to give me 40 tokens. I believe that's right. Or you can say I'm going to complete it 100 times to give me 200 tokens. It is then down to your opponent as to whether or not they say, yeah, that's fine, you've shown me the combo once, I know what you're going to do, you can continue to do that. Or if they wanted to, they can be that little bit awkward and make you play it out, but then you just make a cowboy and burn them for game anyway, so it'd be their own fault if it does burn through time. 9 out of 10, every time I've played, I've never been asked to complete the full combo. I have just done exactly that and said, right, I'm going to activate this a numerous amount of times, this is how many counters I've got, I'm going to mark it on the right hand side, and then we'll show you me ticking them off as I add back all of the cards. For the other 6 Sam monsters, we do play double Kageki. I don't think 3 is necessary. It's the card that I would search off of Isolde more times than not, purely because if I've already used my normal summon, by the time I get to Isolde, then he is a dead card. Or I will search out a card that's going to help me get further in my next turns. Something like Hatsume, again, if I've already used all of my Fuma effects and I've already used my normal summon. Other than that, this is a free discard in the hand, or it's a follow-up play for your next turn, and 2 is more than enough. If you open up, great, you've got a nice free extender. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. The one Hatsume, so this is the main card that you might search off once you've maintained your normal summon through the True Kings, because you can normal summon Hatsume, use her effect to banish 2 in the graveyard to revive 1, and that gives you access to Herald of the Arclight, which can then protect your plays going forward, using, of course, Herald of the Arclight to negate Nibiru's or anything that might be massively disruptive. Or, of course, she's just a very nice get 2 bodies on the board and off you go from the single card, and a follow-up play should you need it. Another card that is easily searchable off the Kizaru, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to have an Earth and a Wind on the board. Being able to search out your Hatsume first, but your Legendary of the 6 as a second option does give you that time that if you do get Nibiru, as long as you can get a 6 Sam on the board. So, for example, if you get Nibiru and you've maintained your normal summon, and these are the 2 cards you have in hand, normal summon Hatsume, special summon out the Legendary of the 6, you would have already got Gateway by this point. So now you're just stacking tokens, and you'll be able to loot the plays, build your board back up, and go for link summons. Obviously, Grandmaster of the 6 as another free summon, and the final 6 Sam monster is Shien Squire. Technically, it's not a 6 Sam monster in name, but the reason we keep this in the deck is because it allows you to make Nat Beast, and using stuff like Dojo, and if you get it into the graveyard, also bringing it back off of Gateway, gives you a constant tuner that is going to be able to be looped. The main target is to make Nat Beast, and then if after you've done that, you could make Barkion if you play it as well. Then for the True Kings, we are playing Triple Mariamne, the Wind True King, purely because you're going to want to be popping Fuma. So the idea is that a True King plus Fuma, and then the correct attribute, gives you near enough full combo in the sense that you're going to maintain your normal summon, you're going to be able to special summon out Kizaru, Kizaru will then get you your normal summon, or another Fuma if you have another True King, and you get to go from there. So like one of the best combos is Mariamne destroying a Fuma in hand and a Barastos, because then Barastos can special summon you out and Agamazud from the deck. You've got the ability for a rank 9 if you want to. In the past you were going to VFD to lock your opponent down, but now you're just using these as free monster fodder to get into your Skull Dread, and being able to go into like an Appaloosa early on as well if you want to, just to kind of protect everything you're going. If you wanted to, you could make the Tree Beast, but that's only going to give you a negation during your opponent's turn. So it really depends on the route you want to go and how you want to play it. But like I said, with all of these, especially when you're keeping in Lithosagam, you've got 2 waters for Barastos, you've got 2 fires for Agamazoo, but you want to be popping these rather than actually summoning them through their own effects. But if you do open up a fire and Fuma, then Agamazoo is live. Your Lithosagam has got 7 targets. Yeah, 7 targets on that one. You've got 5 targets on Mariamne. But again, keep in mind, you are playing Smoke Signal, you are playing United, you are playing Reinforce of the Army, so you can search out any of the missing attributes you might need. And then even if you open up Diagram, it just gets even better for you, because a Diagram pop Fuma gives you the Mariamne. Kizaru then gets special summoned. You can then search out another Fuma, and then you can activate the Mariamne to pop the Kizaru and the Fuma, building up your graveyard, search you out Hatsume. That's your normal summon, and you've got your 6 Sams in the graveyard to resolve her effect consistently and effectively as well. Moving on to the spells, of course, we did play Triple United, so this is one of the cards that can contain Bushido counters. It's not the one you ideally want. You ideally want Dojo or, of course, Temple. But if you do get United, what you want to make sure you're doing is that rather than using its effect to draw, unless you're feeling risky, is you want to be removing the Bushido counters off it once it hits 2, because it's got a max capacity of 2, and then resolving effects going forward that way. Other than that, once you've used and abused it, you do get rid of it, draw 2 cards, as long as it's got 2 Bushido counters on it. Dojo is your best one, stack it up with counters, and then once you've finished with it, remove the counters to special summon a Shien monster, or of course a 6 Sam from the deck. Temple, a lot of people forget this, but your opponents lose 100 attack for every Bushido counter on it. So if you were to complete the combo and put 200 Bushido counters on this, then obviously they're going to be losing 2,000 attack, not 2,000 attack, 200,000 attack, and your opponent's monsters are pretty much going to be attacking for 0 unless they get rid of this card. The final card that can contain Bushido counters is, of course, the almighty Gateway. Then for your search spells, you've got Triple Shien Smoke Signal. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be going for Fuma on this one, or sometimes Hatsume if you need it. Rota, again, depending if you've got a True King in hand, you're going to go for Fuma. But if you don't, you're going to go for stuff like Kizan and Shuanai and stuff like that. For the field spells, of course, you've got Set Rotation, Terraforming, and Diagram to go along with your Temple of the 6. Obviously, if you do get to Diagram, the combo is so much easier and a lot more stronger, but with Diagram being at 1, you can't always rely on it. The final one-offs, you've got the Divine Phoenix Sword and you've got the Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn, bring back absolutely anything you want, as long as it's been successfully summoned. And then the Divine Sword as well. The idea we play this is because off of Isolde, you're summoning out your level 1, which unless you've got an additional monster on the board, will probably be Fuma. And then what you're doing with that one is Fuma with Isolde goes into the Battle Shogun. But if you add back the sword, your Battle Shogun's just got 3 discard fodder, and then you can add the sword back again as well, just so you maintain a bit of hand advantage, which is relevant for a card in our extra deck when we get to it. So, speaking of the extra deck, let's go over the XYZs first. So for the XYZs, we are playing the one Levianeer, the Sea Dragon. So once you've completed your combo with the Mizuho and the Shunai, you can make your Sea Dragon, and this will then allow you to specifically bring back some of the monsters you have banished off of the Phoenix Blade. Ideally a Fuma, because then that will allow you to go into your Synchro plays a lot more consistency, and just kind of get you moving that way, and Levianeer can then be used as link fodder. The other XYZ we play is Abyss Dweller. So this is just the generic rank 4. You can put whatever you want in here. But the reason I've gone with Abyss Dweller is because I've got the ability to just continually flood my board. And with Keyzons, easily put them on the board. I want to make Abyss Dweller because it is going to shut down the main meta decks right now. So Drytrons, it's really going to hurt. And it's also really going to hurt stuff like Phantom Knights. And it can hurt Tri-Brigade in their management resource. Just being able to try and recurse over their resources. And stuff like Nerval as well. We've then got the one Shadow of the 6th Sam Shien. So keeping in mind that this is a Shien effect monster, so you can bring it back from the graveyard with Gateway. But the idea of this is once you've made General and you fill up both his zones that have given him Bushido counters, you then want to overlay the 2 Keyzons into Shien, giving you a monster with a different name for Saruja, but also unlocking another zone for the General and being able to put another Bushido counter on the General as well. Moving on to the Synchro monsters, and then we'll go into the Link monsters. So your most defensive card, and the one you're probably going to make as early as possible, is Herald of the Arc Light. This is just very easy to make, and it allows you to protect your plays from Nibiru's and any kind of massively damaging hand traps going forward. We've then got the one Nat Beast. Now with Nat Beast, it's very specific to make it, but it's something that you'd probably want to make over Shien if you have the ability to do so. But ideally you want to end your board with Nat Beast and Shien, purely because if your opponent does evenly match you, they're going to blow the board out, because you'll probably end up on like something like an Appaloosa and Abyss Dweller, and then maybe the Herald, unless you get rid of it to protect your combo. And then if you make Nat Beast over Shien, you've got to be fearful of an evenly matched. So you have to be very, very careful, and that's probably where Shien might put in a little bit more work, depending on the matchup you're playing. But against Sky Strikers, this just blows them out of the water. They can't play. So very specific lineup, but it's what you're going to be going for. We're then playing the one Crocosaur. Now the reason I went with the Crocosaur is purely because I would actually want to leave him on the board. So when I make him, you're going to be using 2 non-tuners, so you're going to draw 2 new cards. But if you've made your Gateway combo, you're going to be able to make sure that your hand is at maximum capacity as you pass your turn. Now obviously you don't want to add all of the cards to your hand and have to discard them in the end phase, because that's just pointless. But if you max your hand out, which I believe is going to be leaving your hand in 6, then what you're able to do is this is going to be a 4K defender and 4K attacker, but it also has the quick effect to ditch 2 to then pop a card. So you can only use each of them once per turn, but it does give you the ability to maintain your hand resource, but also have a quick effect to ditch 2, pop a card. So you're going to be able to do that with Archosaur, and then leave it, the Crocosaur, and leave him with 3k. And then if you're building this up and you've ended up clearing off some monster zones to then make Shien or Herald or your Nat Beast along with an Appaloosa or an Abyss Dweller, you're really causing your opponent a lot of issues. You don't have to play it, you can easily take him out if you want to, and that's where like a rank 9 could come into play if you wanted to do that way as well. For the Link 2s, of course, we're going with IP Masquerena. We've got Isolde of the Two Tails. Now, like I said, it's very important that you make Isolde first, because Isolde not only adds you a 6-sound monster to your hand, but it also sends the Phoenix Blade to the graveyard, which means you've got easy free discard fodder without having to burn through your hand as you make the General and the rest of your combos. We do play the one Battle Shogun. Arguably, you could put this at 2, which is where Crocosaur could come out as well, purely because if this gets stopped, then you're going into a very, very deep grind game without having a second version of this, and that's where it can be a little bit damaging in that sense. But it depends on how kind of lucky you're feeling, and that's where you probably arguably put in a second Battle Shogun. Then for the remainder of the Link monsters, of course, we do have the one Phoenix, we do have the one Unicorn, and then for the defensive option, for our Link 4, you've got Appaloosa, which you kind of want to end your first turn on. Just because being able to set up the monster negates, you are going to be able to do this with the greatest of ease, purely because you're filling up your board with all of your monsters, and then being able to continue to go from there. For your all-out aggression, of course, you've got your access code. Now, when you make this, if you're going first and or second, so if you go first, your graveyard's going to be pretty full for your next turn. And if you go second, you're still able to play through a Phoenix, a Unicorn, an IP Masquerena, and a Zold, and a possible Battle Shogun. So straight away, you've got at least 4 different attributes there to banish and pop with access code. Not to mention he'll be boosted by 3k, and not to mention because you've been able to loop the Phoenix Sword, because you've been able to search off your gateway, your discard fodder is pretty much next to nothing. So you discard, draw, and you get to go from there. And then the final card we play is the Saruja, purely because once you've made it once, you shouldn't need to make a second one because gateway should be live by that point. And the only reason you do some really serious digging is if you haven't been able to get any extenders or any additional counter production spell cards for the 6 Sams, and then Saruja can help get you to those. But then after that point, Saruja still gives you a free special summon, so by that point you should be able to special summon a 6 Sam, stack up your gateway, stack up the other spell card that you're playing, and that's how you can then continue your combo from that point on as well. So, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for the 6 Sam True King profile. I hope you've liked it. I hope this has given you a couple of ideas for your own particular build. There's no desired will of why I would play this over the pure. The only, personally, I quite like the way this deck operates. I quite like the way that the True Kings can provide that ability to maintain your normal summon. I like the way that Fuma and Kizaru operate. I've got nothing against the pure version of 6 Sam. I still think they're incredibly fun and very, very powerful. It really just comes down to personal preference, but I have a lot of fun with this version, and this is kind of the version that I choose to run more times than not, just because it just gives me that little bit more combo orientated power. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.
Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com, where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door, and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.